Yeah, I thought Jimmy's monologue was fantastic. I have famously, not gotten along with him in particular over the years for just stupid stand-up reasons that don't come from my direction. I don't carry shit around like that. But it was weird for a while. And that left a long time ago. When early on when he got the show, and his child was born, and his kid had, I believe, a heart problem when he was born, and Jimmy went through all that, and I and everybody else sent their love out to him while it was happening. Luckily, his kid is healthy and happy and great. But it's one of those things where it anchors you, and you even if people think that you have hostility towards them, you want to like bury that in their mind, even if you like, because I don't carry it around. But if they think you are, that can bother people and whatever forever. And so at least I can take that off the ledger. Thank you, Jolie. Yeah, I cried too. I choked up when he said, I never meant to make light of the death of a young man. Like when he broke on that, I get it. It was honest and heartfelt, and that's why the right is so confused by it, as I will show you today with some of their responses, which are petty and silly and all that kind of stuff. And don't worry, I will continue to do all the wackiness that I am proud to do in this situation. I want to show you one other picture from last night, which is pretty friggin'. Let me shrink this down so I can show it to you. I don't know why it jumped down, but move this over here. Yeah, there we go. I got to tell you, one of the joys of my life is that when I started going to Second City when I was 15 years old to take classes, and I became kind of, a young and alum of Second City. It became a second home to me. And you go into these places when, it's like, I suppose when people work at a bar or a club, when it's closed and you're behind the scenes of it, and you just get this familiarity with it. And when it's someplace that you have a lot of respect for the history of it, it's very touching to experience that history and be a part of it. And so when I was a kid, I'm in Second City and I'm walking around, and behind the cyc of the main stage, or going to the other rooms, or past the toilets that Ed Asner used to clean to pay for his classes there. No shit. And you like walk around and you're like, I get to be here. This is amazing. I get to feel at home here, as somebody who works in the art around it, which I love and respect. It really just it was amazing when I was 15, 16 years old, experiencing that at Second City, and I still feel it to this day when I go to Second City. I get these little palpitations. It feels like home, right? The whiskey is one of the places I never thought that would happen to me. But because of the jam, because of doing it for years as a singer, and then eventually, now I host and sing and am the presenter of it, and making sure that it continues, and continues to gain strength. And this was, by the way, our biggest audience ever. Pretty great time. That to be able to like show up there for sound check and walk around and put your stuff down, and just realize just how relaxed you are in this space, and know all the sound people that work there, and the staff, and like even some of the young 20-year-olds who work as bar backs and stuff. Those guys are so fucking great. They're such good people, and it makes my heart swell every time I see them. So it's such a lovely thing to not only the performance part of it is extraordinary, and I was like, at the end of Mama, I'm Coming Home, I was a wreck, and everybody was being very nice afterwards and coming up and being very complimentary and very sweet. And I was like, don't be nice to me, it'll just make me cry. But we all had this kind of moment together as a crowd for Ozzy. So anyways, that was great. And so at the same time, like if people are watching Jimmy come on the air, and he's genuinely having these emotions about the seriousness of what he's been through and what he meant and how he cares and what comedy is good for, and how I gotta say how he brought up Erica Kirk's forgiveness of the man who killed her husband, and how that is something that we should all aspire to. And I said that right away, and I'm so glad he said it. And I feel like we have a responsibility to always remind ourselves of that. Yes? Just, that even if it feels unattainable at times, being your better self is always the best path. It doesn't mean you'll get there every time. It doesn't mean, that you're bad if you don't. It's just that should always be the goal. And in my particular case, my goal should be to be able to laugh unceasingly at anybody who considers themselves the man. And in Trump's case, that clearly is what's going on, which we will, by the way, see in today's episode, especially starting with, let's just go straight to the raw footage, shall we? This is Trump. This is Forbes breaking news. Watch Trump's, this is the title of this. Watch Trump's reaction when the UN escalator stops working the moment he and Melania step on it. Which is interesting how they are drawing inferences, right? But I love how they put a fucking cheap, that's the arrow from markup in preview on an iPhone. That's the thing you make. It's not hard. They're just sparing all expense is what they're doing. But just also in case you didn't know which one was Trump, he's the old, confused, fucked up dude standing awkwardly close to his wife as she's going up the escalator in front of him, looking at everyone like he Smales from Caddyshack. So this is the moment. And you got to understand, he's got all these people around him. He's, support and all this. This is the I'm the most important person in the world moment. Also, she is, I don't know if you've noticed this, she's been his handler lately. So she's holding hands with him, which she used to never do. And one of the reasons why she's doing it is because there were a couple of times where he wandered off the path when they were coming from the helicopter or other things. And she's kind of, he used to yank her back and make her stand there. She's now doing the same thing to him. That's why she's holding his hand. Also, maybe that's where the other bruises came from. I'm kidding. Okay, here we go.
Mr. President, any deals with Zelensky and Putin? Mr. President, any deals with Zelensky and Putin?
President, to make of Russia NATO airspace.
Mr. President.
There we go. And then they get on, and they stop, and then... What do you... really? Forbes, this is what you get? Forbes, you suck. You get the blocked footage right as it happens? I almost think they did this on purpose.
Cancel the meeting with Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, hold on. There's got to be another angle. That's hilarious. That Forbes literally is like, don't show it. Find anything that won't. Hold on. We don't even have to. We can just go to all the freak out over that very thing. For example, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the most miserable man on the internet, especially now. So this is Greg Kelly. And Greg Kelly is very upset. It's clear from how Trump was treated and mistreated, ill-treated. And also, I guess, not filleted. I think it goes beyond whether or not he was treated with honor and due respect. Like, Greg Kelly thinks everybody should be throwing, palm leaves in front of him and laying down in front of him and let him walk on their backs over puddles. So and this is, watch out for the tough language there, Greg, wasn't happenstance. Oh, Oh, dare I say happenstance? No. Oh, wasn't happenstance, I wouldn't believe. Oh, no. Oh, you don't say. I would think this was, I would be completely cornswoggled, the whole thing. But no, he believes it was not happenstance at all. No. Greg Kelly blasts weirdness at the United Nations. That's no way to talk about Trump's speech. Actually, it's exactly how you should talk about Trump's speech. Don't worry, Greg hasn't figured it out. What he means is why everybody else didn't think it was awesome.
All right, so he's guilty. The guy who tried to kill President Trump at that...
Well, tried to shoot him. I don't know if he tried to kill him. And also, try is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
golf course a year ago.
Oh, yeah, the shitty golf course that's downwind from the landing strip at West Palm Beach Airport. The one where you can't do like Trump couldn't actually do any toasts outdoors or talk on the steps to the press because the planes going overhead made it so fucking noisy, which is why it's one of the, like, ass-end golf courses in high-end membership clubs. And by the way, why people would rather be a member of Mar-a-Lago, too, because at least you don't have the premise, the assumption that you should be able to go outside.
Found guilty today by a jury. I barely knew Ryan Ruth, is his name, was on trial. This time.
Why would you? You're only in the news and suck Trump's balls at every turn. Why did you just find out? Dude, how do you not know? I'm gonna do a hard switch on Facebook just to see if it pops on and off. Give me 1 second. We'll give it a try. I'm gonna throw the breaker on it. Let's see if it comes back on. I don't know why that would be. And sometimes, by the way, it could just be their algorithm messing with me. Hopefully, Facebook will rejoin us in 3, 2, 1. We are technically streaming again on Facebook. I don't know if it's quality or not, but I've done all I can from this side, and that's how much I love you. Okay, so here's Greg not following the news. Why would you? You're only on Newsmax. Here's a thought. You ever thought of changing the name of your fucking network? Since obviously you're nowhere near the maximum level of news. Fuck, you didn't know that the second dude who tried to off your favorite guy in the world, fuck me, was on trial, was defending himself, was like, just had to be told by the judge, Eileen Cannon, by the way, the same woman that like basically protected Trump and threw out the case against him, that you didn't know that woman was involved. You don't. It's okay. I don't know whether you should. I don't know which word you should knock. Should you knock Max off or news? I think news. I think just Max because you can just assume whatever the fuck you want. Newsmin, yeah, sir. Mini news. I don't even know the guy was. I don't even know the guy was. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Fuck, man.
Just kind of happened and it's gone.
No, it didn't just kind of happen. They built a case. They filed charges. He was indicted. He went on trial. He, his lawyers tried to quit because he wouldn't communicate with them. He defended himself. And whatever you imagine of that guy defending himself, it was that and a whole lot more. Then, when he was found guilty, he apparently tried to stab himself in the neck, and he missed. There was all the story that he did it and he killed himself, and it was like in the big, oh my God, and he missed. He was, I guess, he's not even really that harmed. So, yeah, he's been in jail basically since. Oh, thank you for that. Yes, I see the Discord. Thank you. Yeah, so here we go. Let's take a look, shall we? Let's grab the. Oh, this is one of those things where they have a ad beforehand. It's okay. On Euronews, you try. You do what you can. I'll bring it up in 1 second. I'll move it over here till it's done playing. But because everybody's covering it. Oh, we'll get to that in a second too. Okay, so I can skip this. Yeah. Boink. There we go. Okay, here we go. Boink.
What happened with with Chuck Schumer.
Are you voting to Putin and Putin?
Okay, here we go. This is the no comment is right. This is your own news cover. Hopefully you can see the whole thing. Hold on. Can I just say, wait, back up. Can I just say, somebody just went, ooh. You know what I immediately thought of, chat room, besides my own bit about there's no such thing as a down escalator, was, where is it? Here you go. We'll play. Move this over here. I'm moving stuff around. Trust me on this. The shuffle on this is terrific. Here you go. And I'll turn off the audio on this guy and we'll back up. And I was about to hear. Yeah. There we go.
Like an escalator, man, because an escalator can never break. It can only become stairs. All right. There would never be an escalator temporarily out of order sign. Only an escalator temporarily stairs. Sorry for the convenience.
So that. I immediately went there when that happened, because I was like, especially. Well, actually, I will say I immediately went there when he started bitching about it. Right, when he was like whining about the whole thing in front of the UN. So, yeah, Mitch Hedberg, we miss you, buddy. That's it's. There we go. So let's go to this business. Here we go. So like Greg decides to open his news show with an example of how out of touch with actual news he is, especially the shit that should be extraordinarily important to him pathologically as a Trump sycophant.
Just like the 2 assassination attempts just happened. No, there's more to this.
Yes, there is more to this, like a year and a trial and all kinds of stuff. And also, Trump said there was nothing to it. They're just loonies. So obviously, take it up with him and his Justice Department.
Anyway, guilty on all counts from weapons altering to attempted
weapons altering. He fucking like he used silly putty to put the fucking like what his he had a I don't even know if it was a real scope, like he just had like a scope from another gun, like duct taped to the top of this busted AK-47. The dude from the ATF that was supposed to check the gun said it misfired all the time, that there's a very strong chance that he could have like Trump probably would have been safest if the scope worked, because if he pointed it directly at him, that's the least likely place where the bullet would go. Like, this was a fucking, he was duct taping it, you dickhead.
assassination, and he will spend most likely the rest of his life in jail. He hasn't been sentenced yet.
This is the drawing of him stabbing himself in the neck with apparently the emo guitar player from that replaced Navarro on Jane's Addiction jumping in a suit to save him. And why he looks like John Kerry, I don't know. Or Ted Danson. Is he going to play him in the movie?
9 years old, found guilty on all counts. If you look at the sketch there, he's trying to stab himself in the neck with a pen.
Well, is he though, Greg? I mean, there's a lot more to this. You think it's that simple? I mean, that pen came out of nowhere.
That was his reaction. Take that full, all right? You can see he's got a pen right there.
Yeah, it's a drawing, shithead. It was already full screen. We saw it.
That's him. And the U.S. Marshals are trying to save him from himself. The guy is obviously a nut.
Right, yeah. I mean, you could tell by the way he duct taped his fucking gun together and put up, like, plates in sort of a little, like a, I guess, is building his own little castle on the green.
But the whole thing is incredibly weird.
Thanks. All right, slow down with all that techno mumbo jumbo. It really weird. That's okay.
President Trump playing golf on that golf course.
Do you realize your staff hates him, or they wouldn't pick pictures like this? This is not a hero shot, Greg. He looks like he's like, oh God, I just shit. Like he looks like he realized as he was swinging that poop was coming out, and he couldn't stop it. And he was like, not again. And then they freeze frame it, and it's an ad on Fox for butt suppositories.
How the Secret Service actually said the president was not supposed to be there. They actually said the president was not supposed to be there. What he does every Sunday, he golfs. We know that about.
Yeah, but he changed his schedule. But the idea, by the way, that's part of this conspiracy theory that somehow Ralph knew that he was, he had changed his schedule. Like, they drove from Mar-a-Lago together, you dumb motherfucker. And he didn't always do it. But he watched the timing of it because you could see the fucking motorcade.
They know that about him. But they emphasize time and time again, he was not supposed to be there. What are they talking about? And the shooter is
I don't know. I think they're just being weird.
just this mystery man.
Yes. International man of mystery in a fucking peach t-shirt. And moobs. Man of mystery.
Ryan Ruth. A couple of things about him. He lived in Ukraine. Now,
Yeah, and they told him to go pound sand.
what was he doing over there? How did he get there? Why did he pop up
He took a plane.
in a Blackstone commercial? It's totally absurd, kind of.
Yeah, kind of absurd. I feel like that should be your autobiography.
You know, we had another successful presidential assassin, probably part of a broad conspiracy.
Yeah, if you believe that.
He lived in Russia for a number of years. Ryan Ruth lived in Ukraine, Lee Harvey Oswald in Russia.
Okay. Yeah, you realize they're kind of the opposite ends. I guess technically speaking, this guy killed a Democrat who was living in Russia, and the idea is that the guy who lived in Ukraine was maybe trying to shoot a Republican, although he voted for him. Dummy. So maybe that's the Ukraine split, because Russia in 1959 and through 1962 owned Ukraine. Shithead.
It's just bizarre.
It's weird. It is weird. It's also weird that Matt Taibbi got his career started doing a zine, and that Scott Ritter can say nothing bad about Russia after his time that he spent there. And it's odd that all of Trump's fucking loans come from there.
And Ryan Ruth is, well, this is what he sounds like.
Every day in my interactions with everybody, you know, every one of us is responsible for the outcome of this war. Every one of us, you know, by our actions and what we do. And, you know, when I call back home and say, hey, I need $5 so I can, you know, put enough money together to get a vest for a Ukrainian, and I get no response, I'm like, I'm not sure that the world is as wonderful as I once thought it was.
Yeah, it's our problem, not your problem. It's us, not you, huh? Well,
Greg, I'm sorry. Did he call you? Is this what we're finding out? Did you guys used to hang?
he's weird, and so I'm sorry, the Lee Harvey Oswald Ruth thing, both that's just weird, but it gets weird.
Yeah, there is no tie. I guess they're both technically in Europe and they're not in Asia.
When the Secret Service, when you factor them in and their response and the weird stuff this guy said, his name is Rao. He's no longer with the Secret Service. We think they have all these ways of maintaining their pay and little sinecures, little hiding spots in the agency.
Well, then he probably is. If he hasn't been let go, or he didn't decide to leave because he couldn't, guard Trump in earnest.
But right after this happened, he spoke, and a lot of things are just not adding up. Still.
Yeah. Even after you, wait a minute. I'm having a hard time believing that you still have questions after all the attention you paid to the trial of Ryan Routh and all the details that came out in it and the witnesses and you didn't even know what was happening. Oh, gee, that might be one of the fucking reasons why you look back at the initial reports and are confused. Jesus.
What we did yesterday was exercise our emergency plan based on the number of tactical assets and the highest level of protection that we are providing.
Yeah, they did. The dude never got a shot at Trump. There were guys, the two forward guys saw him, exchanged fire, he ran away, they chased him down and caught him. Yes. Does Greg, look, I know Greg's fucking stupid, but does he think Trump was injured twice? I'm serious. Does he think that, like, Ralph got a shot off at Trump? For real.
All right, right there, the highest level of protection we are providing.
Yeah. They walked the grounds, there was nobody there. They sent other guys ahead. Before he went there, those guys spotted the shooter, and he never got anywhere near being able to shoot at Trump. They were like 2 holes ahead, you know, kind of like every other guy in the world. From you, Greg. Sorry.
He's playing a bureaucratic game.
No, he isn't. He's describing what fucking happened, you tit.
He's trying to convey that President Trump's coverage was as high as President Biden's, but it wasn't, and he wants...
Yeah, it was. 2 things. One, again, the dude never got anywhere near him because they went ahead, and Trump changes his schedule at last minute. It's one of the things about Butler that they didn't have time because he was doing these things sort of slapdash. So people, it's way easier to find gaps in security if you rush things and you don't plan shit ahead. And Trump doesn't like to do that because he's got no impulse control because his brain is turning into tapioca. And so that's why they're like, if he says he wants to go golfing, we got to go with him. But most of the time we'd like to do like a 12-hour sweep ahead of time, but he's not letting us. He's just going. So we got in there and we had people spread out and cover the area. And then we had the people that were in charge of, as a candidate, making sure he's safe, being ahead of him, and it protected him. You absolute asshole.
To obscure that a little bit.
It's not obscuring anything. You're a dickhead. You're a fucking coward. Fuck you. These people put their life on the line most of the time for people they didn't vote for or wouldn't vote for. Secret Service people are, like, oddly enough, by and large, with rare exception, some of the most, like, courageous people in the world because of the kind of shit they go after. And if they're on the presidential detail, they're in a position where they might have to give their life to protect the country from collapse, even if they don't like the dude.
Doing a dance. He's
or the lady.
Playing a game. Next.
When you go down Southern Boulevard right now and you try to get over to Palm Beach and you see the robust presence that's existing outside of Mar-a-Lago, the heavy uniform presence, the additional assets of the Secret Service. And for those of you that were here in 2017, when the president was in office, when you look at that footprint now and you look at it today, there's not much difference there. There is heavy uniform presence out there.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. It's not like...
Yeah, here's the thing, though. Trump's golf course is a fucking dump on a public throughway, and they can't lock it down for a fucking candidate. It's a public road. He doesn't get station guards every 18 feet and a 6-block radius around him.
When President Trump was president. So take a look at the golf course where this guy was staged to take out President Trump. This is where...
Uh-huh. Yeah, we know up here's the fucking sanitation plant and the gun club. There's a fucking gun club right there. There's also a kids' school right across the street. So you want to shut it down anytime Trump decides he wants to fucking go golfing at any given time so that people can't pick up and drop off their kids? Fuck off.
The shooter was, okay, right there at the top of my pen, that little, okay?
Yeah, why couldn't they see him if he was that big and round and red?
This Summit Boulevard, which was totally open that day.
Right, because it's a fucking road.
President Trump was here.
Right, nowhere near Summit Boulevard.
when they found the shooter, but he was supposed to make his way all the way.
Right, because they were 2 holes ahead of him, clearing the area for safety. Asshole.
To this place right here. Now, even if there was no shooter, President Trump should not be that close to ordinary vehicular traffic, right?
He wasn't president. He was a fucking candidate. And tough shit. Get a better golf course. He owns the fucking place. He doesn't get to, God damn it, he doesn't get to shut down public throughways just because he wants to golf, you asshole.
You could lob a...
You could also not fucking golf. You're allegedly a billionaire. Why the fuck are you hanging out in this dump in a highly congested area? Why don't you just go bowling while you're at it?
grenade over the fence.
Somebody could chuck a grenade over the fence. Yeah, I'm sure they could. Probably those kids at the elementary school. Isn't that true anywhere? I mean, I got to tell you, why would they chuck it over the fence there if they could just chuck it over the fucking fence here? Or chuck it over the fence over here? He doesn't own that either.
And kill him. Anybody. It's just way too close to a president.
Well, then tell him not to golf. Sorry, sir, we can't close fucking streets for you as a candidate. And by the way, he's still calling him President Trump. Former presidents don't get that kind of coverage. Jesus Christ. How about this? Imagine, if you will, Greg, if we all were talking about how racist some of your buddies are, and we're concerned for Obama's safety, so we believe they should shut down the fucking streets around Obama's house in Chicago anytime he's there, because they have a yard. And even if they have a wall, there's still the fucking... Somebody could chuck a grenade, sure. So why not shut down the fucking thoroughfares for a mile in every direction? Fuck is the matter with you?
He's not being... I don't think he's being honest, this guy. He's playing a bureaucratic game. We have one more? So, think about this. We have Butler, Pennsylvania. Happens when? That's July, right? July. And then we have West Palm. How many days? Not much time. Next element, please. These things happened essentially back to back. And that's crazy. They said, well, okay, this is never going to happen. We're going to ramp everything.
Well, they kind of did, actually. That happened. The guy got a shot off. This guy never did. They can't magically stop somebody from trying, but they actually succeeded, asshole. More, all damage to, a ketchup packet aside, more damage done on July 13th, less September 15th. Also, not quite back to back. Just saying. There's a whole month in there. Big month, actually.
Up, and they didn't. And forgive me if I can go back to Ron Rowe one more time. He blamed this on the president. Nobody, I'm still astonished.
Sorry, the presidential candidate.
He's not telling the truth. It may have been an off-the-record movement, but the Secret Service plans for those.
Yeah, no, they don't. You can't plan for his impulses, especially when he's meeting with Steve Witkoff, the guy who's basically is in charge of building Trump Plaza Gaza. Gee, I can't imagine why, since there was like a station set up for his candidacy at Mar-a-Lago, why he would want to move to his golf course and talk with Steve in private. Maybe because he put mics all over Mar-a-Lago and he doesn't have mics all over his other property, is the theory. Or at least only on a couple of the holes. He knows there aren't any.
What he says.
And again, what I go back to is yesterday was an off-the-record movement. Off the record. And the president wasn't even really supposed to go there. It was not on his official schedule. And so we put together a security plan, and that security plan worked.
And it did. It actually did work.
It was the president's fault. That's just not true. Off the record, not to brag, but I used to work at the White House, and they had...
Yeah, what did you do? Change the coffee filters?
the records all the time. It did not mean what that guy says it means.
Hey, asshole, he wasn't the president. He was a fucking, he was running for president. He was a former president, but fuck off. He wasn't the president. And he's closing down the Secret Service protection of other presidents, former presidents, and their families.
The president was still on the move, but they might not alert
He wasn't the president.
the media. They was playing a game. I'm telling.
Also, by the way, if you're doing a last minute thing at the White House, you're moving from one part of the White House to the other part of the White House. Or you're leaving and going someplace via a goddamn, like, Marine One. He didn't pop out. Okay, he did not pop out and go to fucking dinner like he did the other night, where they had, by the way, they'd planned it for 2 fucking days. Jesus. Nobody does that. The president lives in a bubble, stupid.
you. And so was his buddy there, Kimberly Cheatle. She was the first Secret Service director. I noticed something very strange when they both testified.
That she was a woman and the other guy was appointed by somebody you don't like. Was that it?
Folks, when they investigated this, they only
Oh, thank you guys.
investigated what happened on July 13th or that day in September. They didn't look into all the weird things that was happening before all of this. All
Really? Oh, you mean Trump's campaign?
the horrible things that were being said about President Trump.
Oh, you mean the true shit, like him being best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for a quarter century, and Katie Johnson's allegations against him that she pulled because she felt intimidated and feared for her life, and rightly so, since not only was her alleged attacker going to become president of the United States or close to it, his attorney was actually someone else who had engaged in stuff allegedly at Epstein's house, and that made you feel like, yeah, I can understand why people would say awful things about an awful person.
And their relationships with, I believe, sinister people.
Sinister people. Like, I don't know, like the late, great Hannibal Lecter.
Watch
Or you don't mean Stephen Miller, do you?
this.
The assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on July 13th is the most significant operational failure of the Secret Service in decades, and I am keeping him and his family in my thoughts. I would like to offer my sincerest condolences to the family of Corey Comparator, a former fire chief and a hero who was killed in this senseless shooting. I would also like to acknowledge those who were injured in Butler, David Dutch and James Copenhagen,
Wow, it's more than Greg has ever done.
and I wish them a speedy recovery. I would be remiss if I did not also extend my condolences on the passing of your colleague, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. Ms. Jackson Lee was always engaged in the oversight of the Secret Service, and her passing is a great loss to this body.
I extend my deepest sympathies to the Comparator family and my sincere wishes for Mr. Copenhaver and Mr. Dutch's continued recovery.
All right, so the thing here is this. They spent
That they work together, and that not only is that probably a true statement from each of them, but an agreed upon and necessary part of the conversation, because of the shooting, not only was Trump allegedly injured, but another man died and 2 other people were gravely injured. And so you kind of would say that like a fucking grown-up.
more time mourning Sheila Jackson, whoever.
Fuck you. Mourning Sheila Jackson, whoever. You don't even know the names of the other people they mentioned, dickhead.
Then pointing out what happened to President Trump. Our thoughts are with President Trump.
No. You're clipping the part. You're playing someone else's clip, I would argue. I bet somebody else put that together and you yanked that off of fucking Twitter. That's the part where they were talking about the other people and calling it a failure, specifically in addressing those things. They didn't not talk about Trump and his injuries and all that kind of shit. That was a huge part of the whole fucking conversation, stupid.
Of course they are. You almost let him get killed. And that guy on the right didn't.
You almost let him get killed. You let him almost get killed? He almost got killed because you let him? No. You let the guy almost kill him? There's a lot of different ways he wants that to be read.
Even say Trump. Oh, he talks about Biden and Mayorkas and how they're so good and all that stuff, but
And which is just a way of demonizing Trump and making us would-be assassins feel more comfortable attacking him. You just talk about how good Mayorkas and Biden are, and they're like, that makes somebody sit at home and go, I can't wait to shoot Mr. Trump.
nothing about Trump. One more time, just a little part. This is all she says in the way of apology or sympathy toward President Trump.
Yeah, but they did a big mea culpa about the details, fuckhead.
I am keeping him and his family in my thoughts.
No kidding, because you're going to be meeting with them and they're going to yell at you. I don't know. I mean, it's...
Why would they be meeting with him, asshole? Biden was president last year, you shithead. God damn, like it's so weird. This is the weirdest part. You want to talk about weirdness in this clip? Greg, Jesus Christ. But do you know what day it is? Do you know what year it is? Did you just wake up? How long were you in a coma, Art? Let's play a little game, Art. Elvis, living or dead? Living. Long coma, Art. Long coma.
There's something suspicious about it. And her.
No, there isn't.
Very grim, right?
What's she supposed to do? Fucking smile? People just died, you dick.
And, but I also think...
She's very grim. Yeah, where's when's Rip Torn gonna come out and be the spokesperson for the fucking Secret Service? Ha ha! Throw fucking confetti in the air. She's grim. This guy just died. 2 other people are like physically impaired for the rest of their fucking life, and Trump was nicked by a piece of glass from his teleprompter and had a massive, I don't know if you know, but the ear bleeds like more than anything. You know.
They called...
It was Rip Taylor, right. Yeah, thank you.
Her out of retirement.
I did, right. Rip Torn was in Defending Your Life, and we love him for that.
And Joe Biden did. She worked for the Bidens, very close with the Bidens, and also very close earlier in her career with the Cheneys, right? Dick Cheney.
Yeah. So she was obviously I'm going with a communist. Probably a communist.
I find this incredibly, well, what did he think of Donald Trump?
Okay. So she's on marching orders from Dick Cheney to let Trump get snuffed. That's the prevailing story. I got to tell you, everybody wants a chunk of the Alex Jones pile, and we've got, hippie Alex Jones from Rusty Trombone. We got dweeb Alex Jones for Tucker Carlson, and I guess is he like Greg is assistant manager Alex Jones? I'd like to speak to your manager. He's not in today, but I'm in charge of the store until somebody who knows what's going on shows up. He's the assistant manager, Alex Jones.
In our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump.
But a reckless, terrible thing to say. In our history, there's never been an individual who was a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump.
Well, you've won me over, Greg. I'm never going to vote for that guy. I would also like to remind everybody, News Minimum over here is taking time out of their day with assistant manager Alex Jones, telling everybody what a shitheel the second to last, third to last, and consecutively serving vice president, Republican vice president was. So, whatever.
So, I think I know what happened. Well, I have my suspicions.
Please tell us.
If you believe...
Let me guess. Building 7.
That, and you take an oath to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, you almost have a duty to let something bad happen to the greatest threat to this republic ever, right? I'm suspicious. I remain suspicious. And quite frankly, some weird stuff happened today that...
Uh-oh. Some weird stuff happened today. So you were on the bus, and you swear to God you had $10 in your wallet, and then you looked again and it was gone.
Kind of suggests...
Yeah, you're right. 2 assassination attempts and an escalator lockup. It's all come together. Can you believe that's how we got to the fucking escalator? That's amazing. Greg Kelly. And I don't know how anybody can lose their paranoia erection so quickly. Just woo, woo, woo. Like you were going strong, buddy. 2 assassination attempts, right and left, apparently subversively trying to take out Trump, and these assassinations have one right after the other, and then the escalator stops. They're trying to kill him by making him trip and fall into Melania's extensions. First they try to shoot him in Butler. Then this guy tries to shoot him on his golf course. Then they take his favorite thing away. They shut a gold escalator while he's on it. It's a warning. They're telling him, yeah, remember when you came down the gold escalator? Now you're going back up. And remember how you've been talking about whether or not you're going to get into heaven? You're about to find out, you old fart. This is the... Oh. Thank you, Greg Kelly. Thank you. Because I got to say, like, all this shit was so stupid already. But you've outdone yourself.
Stupid. Dumb, silly, stupid, dumb, dumb.
You've elevated it to a level of moronic that I don't think any of us were ready for. It's these precious gifts. Sorry. These precious gifts that we just, we don't want to overlook them when they show up, you know?
Weirdness of this nature. You saw that the escalator situation?
No, I didn't notice. Trump seems to think that the person in charge of running the escalator is over his right shoulder. I don't know why anybody would think that. Unless he's going to turn around and go, okay, who shut off the escalator? Meanwhile, we're going to find out later that he actually rested his hand on the emergency stop button and didn't look. Dump, rimp, dump. I just...
Dum, 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 dum.
It's so good.
The escalator stopped working?
It did. Or did it? Maybe it started working for the plan. Hold on. Do I have a sample music? I wish I had a dramatic sting or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. No, that's not it. Tap dance. God damn it. I'm going to have to make one, aren't I? Yeah. Well, this'll do.
I've been caught on like 5 elevators in my life. An escalator has never stopped working mid-escalation. Take a look again. It just stops. And
President Trump, why did you cancel the meeting with Chuck?
it's not going to stop them, of course. Watch President Trump when he gets to the top. He knows something's up. That's not right. That is not right.
He knew something wasn't right. That's not right. That's not how an escalator normally works. Normally, they're moving and they keep moving. All right.
And I think they played games with that. I'll show you. I think I can prove it in a moment.
I have no doubt.
They also played games with his teleprompter, his great big speech at the United Nations, and they turned off the teleprompter.
No, they didn't. His own people run his teleprompter. I love, can I just say, if I may, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Oh, thanks. Oh, we need, let's see, grab this. Hold on. Good idea. Yeah. I'll borrow that for the over-the-shoulder look later. Okay, hold on. That's good. I'll save this over here. Yeah, I'll have to pull that one, the actual sound effect for it. Can I just say one thing that's glorious about Greg Kelly? A blessing. There's a lot of blessings. I just want to say that. And by the way, guys, thank you so much for the super chats and everything, for the birthday super chat stuff. I just noticed. I think we hit the goal thing already. Oh my God, you guys are so wonderful. Thank you for the happy birthday stuff. I will be streaming tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be a regular show or it'll just be something, the beginning of my my Reverend Gene Scott era, where I do the show just sitting in a chair. I kind of want to show you guys my workspace where I'm building all my weird electronic shit. And so I might, I've set up a camera at that desk where I sit and actually, this has become like, this used to be like my music desk, my music studio thing, and then it turned into the show. So it kind of the show ate the computer. It's like just this, right? So I had to set up a whole other space because I have no desktop space that doesn't have gear all over it. So yeah, anyways, don't worry about it, Sydney. Your presence is plenty. Oh, you're awesome, CSL. Thank you. I'm going to save. Oh, here, do we save it? Hey, download it. There we go. Yes, I'll allow it. Hold on. I'm going to go back to here. Allow. There we go. Excellent. Dun, dun, dun. All right, here we go. Also, I have an idea. Hold on. Got to turn it on here, and then take these out, and then I'll grab this and put it here, and then I've got it anytime I want to. Holy shit, that's loud. I'm sorry. That fried everybody's cats. Jesus. All right. We're fine. I'm all right. All right, here we go. Let's go back to Greg Kelly. Now, what was I saying? Oh, yes. So let me make this point about Greg Kelly and one of the gifts that he gives us. That he may not even be aware of the joy and the gift that he gives us, but it's that every time he gets upset about somebody mistreating his hero, Donald John Jeffrey Epstein's running buddy, Trump, he has to show the embarrassing moment. He has to show the shitty thing that happened to Trump, which is fucking hilarious, so that he can show you why he's so outraged about it, right? Why he's so upset. So he shows all these embarrassing moments of Trump thinking, can you believe this? And it's just fucking hysterical. Like he's going to show that, he'll probably show that escalator footage more than anybody. He practically has it on a loop. And the same thing with this moment of the speech where Trump bitches about his teleprompter.
Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you, nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Well, then why? Because they made you speak from the heart? You chintzy bastard. What the fuck? Also, by the way, I apologize. I should have put this warning up much earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, just protect yourself against the nunt as best you can. I know it's difficult, but we must press on. Keep calm and nunt on, as it were. I don't know who's more upset. Trumpet just being made to look like an ass by his own admission. It's not that the teleprompter's out. He's got the speech in front of him. He could go like that at the teleprompter, but he'll read that, and then when it comes up, start reading from there like a gentleman. But he's just a whiny bitch, so that's what he does. But I don't know who's more upset: Trump, who's obviously a whiny bitch, or Greg Kelly, who's he's embarrassed on his behalf. Oh, it's so good.
Teleprompter, the escalator, he puts it all together. I mean, they were trying to ruin his speech, ruin his
Were they?
day, send a message or whatever.
Sorry, let me get this straight. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%, Greg Kelly. I'm with you 100%. The most miserable man on the internet. I'm with you. They're trying to ruin his speech by making him walk a flight of stairs and making him speak from the heart. Apparently, they were like, if this asshole has to walk one flight of stairs and speak extemporaneously, he's fucked. That's your argument. That's the idea? Okay. You know what? It seems like it worked, I guess.
Didn't work.
Yeah, it did.
He knows what's happening.
I ended 7 wars, dealt with
No.
the leaders of each and every one of these countries, and never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal.
Why did you have to finalize the deal? I thought you handled it. Finalize what? Oh, because these are just bullshit meetings you sent Witkoff for, and since it was basically not on anybody's radar, you could just tell everybody it was fucking over. Congo and Rwanda, Azerbaijan and Albania. And since nobody's going to, see, because Gaza and Ukraine are eating up most of, the bandwidth, you just figure people just assume you fixed it, right? That's why. And so why would you wanted them to like come in and sweep up? Like I started or you finish her off.
All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle.
No, it stopped right at the beginning, actually. If it stopped in the middle, you wouldn't have had to go as far. Maybe they would have done you a solid or whatever. Also, there were 2 flights of stairs on either side of it that you could have just taken.
If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen.
You're not in great shape. You didn't fall down. It didn't lurch to a stop, asshole.
But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood.
She's in great shape. Notice he says good when he mentions himself.
And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter.
Well, and it wasn't happenstance. Take a look at this in the London Times from Sunday, 2 days before. To mark Trump's arrival, the UN staff members have joked that they may turn off the escalators and elevators and simply tell him they ran out of money, so he has to walk up the stairs.
How dare they make him walk stairs?
Ha ha ha. 2 days prior, Caroline Leavitt says there should be an investigation. People should be fired.
Of course. People should be fired for making him walk a flight of stairs. Sabotage! Saboteur! Someone has turned the escalator into stairs! Which is fine. So, yeah, I guess we're all right.
And yes, Melania actually could have gotten hurt. I walked up at...
Because he would have fallen on her, you absolute fuckhead. That wasn't about whether she would fall down. That was about he felt like he was going to fall down on top of her, which would be very damaging even if she wasn't on escalator steps, which look like they have teeth.
Escalators that didn't work, but an escalator has never just stopped working right in front of me. Is that...
It's interesting. Have you ever seen an escalator that isn't running? Do you think it only stopped when no one was on it? Just think about this. Just anytime you've ever seen an escalator that isn't currently functioning, you think maybe, I don't know, I'm spitballing here, that someone else might have been on it when it shut off. Wasn't you, but it might have been somebody else.
Ever happened to you?
Yes.
Anyway, the UN. So it didn't stop him from delivering a very interesting and compelling speech full...
Interesting. All right. Are we air quoting every word, every adjective?
Of, well, leadership.
Leadership. Cut. All right. We're pulling out of... That's the end of the clip. Full of leadership. Leadership. So that's, by the way, there was the big belief everywhere, in the right wing was that he was, even, here's Ducey on Fox News.
So President Trump pushing the America First agenda on the world stage while also calling out the United Nations for failing to live up to its potential.
Potentially having escalators at work.
Your White House correspondent Peter Ducey joins us now with the details. Hey, Peter.
Good morning. And a good chunk of President Trump's speech was explaining
chunk is a good word.
Why he is going it alone, trying to end wars around the world by himself. And
trying? Fuck you. He ended 7, okay? They're not happening. No one is dying in any of those conflicts right now and never will again. They have ended. India and Pakistan are brothers again. They're going to form one country. Azerbaijan and Albania are like, what were we fighting about? I don't even know.
Cutting UN delegates out.
The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it.
No, you haven't.
It has such tremendous, tremendous potential.
I'm just so disappointed as your principal.
But it's not even coming close to living up to that potential.
And if anybody's an expert on that, it's a second-generation rich kid.
For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up.
Well, you don't want them to follow it up, asshole. You have to have the countries involved in it follow it up, because you don't. The UN isn't a governing body. It's effectively a treaty organization. Your own followers think the UN is running shit behind the scenes in this country. They think that Jade Helm was an exercise so that UN jackbooted thugs could take over the fucking country, dumbass. The whole point is to make sure they can't do anything. They can just agree on a plan for fixing things, you dipshit. I mean, there might be an argument for letting them do some things, but as everybody votes on it and they could send troops someplace and they have to be a part of it, like, right? Is that what you're talking about? Ask maggots how they feel about that.
It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war.
Empty words don't solve war. Ah! Wah!
But that doesn't mean the White House is completely ignoring the UN. After Senate confirmation, President Trump has finally installed Mike Waltz, the former national security advisor and congressman.
Great. Yeah, that's to show he takes the UN seriously.
His ambassador to the UN.
The president hammered home in his speech yesterday, Europe can't be buying Russian oil and gas at the same time they're demanding help to fight this war. And that has to stop. The president is going to do whatever it takes, and he's going to shift positions if he needs to.
Shift positions. Oh. Hey, MAGA, dissect that sentence for me. The president is going to do whatever he has to do and shift positions if he needs to. Yeah? What would you say if a member of any Democratic administration at all, shit, at this point, any Republican administration before Trump, if somebody in their administration said if they need to shift positions, they will. How would you feel about that? What would you run with? What kind of statements would you make? What kind of thumbnails would you have on your fucking YouTube videos about the outrage of shifty Obama or whatever the fuck? Shifting positions. All right, sure. Trump gets to shift positions, and you motherfuckers will lap that shift right up. You will eat shift.
To get this war to end.
The president is also steamed about technical problems he says affected him, but not other world leaders, including an...
By the way, it is at the UN, and there is a... I think the escalators have an evil quota. So, and there's a lot of people that got there before him, so it was already near the edge.
Escalator that died basically the second that he...
Notice she's like, okay, let's just go.
Stepped onto it.
All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the two things I got from the United Nations: a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter.
The United Nations is claiming that a White House videographer ran ahead of President Trump to the top. And here's the quote from the UN. A subsequent investigation indicated that the escalator had stopped after a built-in safety mechanism on the comb step was triggered at the top of the escalator. But in the time...
So they dropped a lens cap into the thing and the comb caught it?
Times of London on Sunday, before President Trump
was like they were talking about, people were joking about shutting them, right?
To the United Nations to speak. Unnamed UN staffers were quoted as saying that they...
Unnamed? So we're going, I'm cool with it, but we're going with unnamed sources now. We're good with unnamed sources. For the record, maggots, you guys are good with shifting positions and unnamed sources. Those are good now. That's completely cool with you. It's fine. You can have a double standard. I just want to know which one exists and which one you're on.
Turn off the elevators and the escalators and then tell President Trump that they ran out of money to make it work. But this is a legitimate safety concern, and so the Secret Service is investigating.
Your tax dollars at work.
Back to you.
It's never happened to me before. I do a lot of shopping. You got a lot.
I'm upstairs. I never stairs. And stairs over time I go shopping. Jesus Christ. That's a grown man talking on a television show. Listen to him talk.
It's investigating. Back to you.
It's never happened to me before. I do a lot of shopping.
It's never happened for me before. I do a lot of shopping. You guys? How about you guys? Guys ever been shopping and thing happens to your feet?
Go to a lot of malls.
I go to a lot of malls. No, you don't.
Second floor where the men's stuff is, because you walk in on the first floor. It never happened to me.
Maybe ask around. So we're okay. So let me get this straight. We're good with censorship of speech. We're good with like unnamed sources, and we're good with anecdotal stories based on personal lived experience. We're good with Brian Kilmeade's lived experience. Must be honored in this moment, even though statistically speaking, most broken escalators stop when people are on them, and again, people just continue to walk as the president and the first lady and everybody else did. But in Brian Kilmeade's lived experience, he and Greg Kelly, when they go shopping together, have never experienced this together. As a matter of fact, when they get there, someone speeds the fucking thing up in an attempt to eject them out the skylight.
That's great, and you are obviously very careful with that emergency button at the top of the escalator. But with an escalator, I've been on one that somebody hit the button at the mall. I think at the Garden State Mall in New Jersey, and it does kind of jolt forward,
right?
If somebody is on it.
And in this case, the only person we know of who might have done such a thing was the videographer for Trump, who ran ahead to get footage of his historic trip to the UN for video that they could use in his campaign-style videos when he's not going to have another campaign.
If there was sabotage here, somebody doesn't know that the president and the first lady aren't going to fall down, and that would be a big problem.
Yeah.
Not if you're a saboteur, I think. Wouldn't that be the point? You know what I mean? Like if they do it they're not just doing it to make him walk stairs. The idea is, I think, if that's how they think it would work, maybe they've tested it. I don't know, went over and hit it. Wow, that lurches pretty close. Let me check different age groups, male and female.
That would have been terrible.
Also, you should secure the button if you have the leader of the free world on.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
Yeah, where was the Secret Service? Thank you. First they fuck around in Butler, then they fuck around at his shit-ass golf course downwind from the West Palm Beach airport, and now nobody's covering the emergency stop button on the escalator at the UN? What the fuck is going on? There's a plot. It's a plot. There's a plot, and it's gonna make him plots.
Peter,
thank you very much. Who's on button detail? Okay, everybody. Trump Secret Service detail. Thanks for coming in early at noon. He'll be up in another 2 hours. I know you've seen the schedule. Golf, texting, and yelling at something, signing something in the office, and then on the toilet writing truth sinkholes away. But there is a chance we will be going to a place we have never been before, and so we are going to have, it's the home of a donor. There is a chance, though, because this person is asshole rich, that they may indeed have an escalator. So we're going to need somebody on button duty. And then, not to be confused with Gary, you're on duty button. So if Trump, makes a, you hit the button, and the device that they brought in that, the thing we call the Walt bot rolls in, swipes out his pants, does the kind of like massive bidet thing with the brush on it, throws on another hyper sealed diaper, and then and backs away with his pants on. And remember, there's an arrow. I put a Post-it on it so his pants aren't put on backwards again. The Walt bot is not perfect. The front has an arrow on it now. I know you think the arrow should go in the back. It does not. Okay, so you're on the duty button. You're on button duty. Are we clear? All right. Break. Right.
So much.
Is it a coincidence? I mean,
No, it's not. If you look at the button, it's made by Acme, which I think the A in Acme stands for Antifa. Can make emergency. That's right.
had the teleprompter go down. No. Yeah, the escalator stopped. Katie Pavlich said in the press room when they were listening to the speech, when the president started talking, the volume went down significantly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there was another thing, because the translators, a lot of times, they usually wait until your thing's in the teleprompter and then you start talking. And so he started talking ahead of time so that he was boosted. And then they were like, oh, some people are listening with the translating devices on. And so they kind of raised they ducked the volume in the headsets, and they did it on the outside speakers, because whatever. How dare they? Right. But
there's a couple of things that the president brought up I thought was so great. He said,
yeah, so great.
The climate change hoax. All you people putting all this money into green energy, enough with the windmills. I love that North Sea, start drilling on it. Also,
nothing's more beautiful than an oil rig off your coast. A windmill, when you see one, that big white thing spinning like it's made of clouds, it's just fucking gross. But a nice gnarly oil rig, it blends into the background. I barely notice them.
Calling him out and challenging people to stop wasting money on this.
That's right.
You heard Mike Waltz tell us that there's 7 commissions on climate change. Meanwhile, we got wars raging around the world.
Yeah, it's the United Nations. They cover a lot of shit. They're not pulling people off war duty to work on climate, dummy. You're not taking climate scientists and people from your universities and your energy sector and yanking them off like, I don't know, fucking drone duty.
Act together and control your borders.
Control your borders.
Your countries.
And especially, because I go to the mall, now I've never been on an escalator in the middle of a war.
Being ruined, control your borders. If you need any help, I know how to do it. Look what we've done. And he's not making that up. Have you seen the video of France? Do you see what's going on in London? That is out of control immigration. That's like, I don't care what my people think. I want to open up my doors for no apparent reason.
The residents there,
Also, what he means is Muslims, by the way. They're not talking about some of the other European countries and that kind of thing. And in England, there's they don't give a shit about the mass illegal immigration into the UK are largely Polish workers working under the table. They don't give a fuck about those people. That's not who they're concerned with at all. It's not about open borders. It's about Muslims. That's the panic that they're talking about, just for the record.
Citizens there say they don't even recognize their country anymore. Yeah. And that's not saying that you don't want diversity and people to come through, but opening it up and having people bring their ideology there and not assimilate, they got radicals there. And a lot of us worry about that happening in our country when you allow...
A lot of us? Your whole network's job is to worry about that.
10 million people to come across the border.
Look at Michigan.
Right.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Is obviously that he's not what it was. Sorry, I'm not following along. Is Michigan full of Mexicans, and that concerns you, Greg? No, I'm guessing not.
Exactly.
Michigan, there's
unrecognizable.
There. Yeah, we played some things from city council meetings where certain residents don't feel welcome in their own city.
I'm Steve Deuce.
Really? Certain residents? You don't say. From whatever, like Nick Fuentes' mom, who? Yeah, they're radical Polish people. Those would be Germans, I think, theoretically. So, yeah, so you get the point on that one.